Professor Becker, and this video is to go over the syllabus for Introduction to Chemistry. Alright, let's start at the top. You're taking this class at the Valencia College East campus. The number is CHM 1025, which is Introduction to General Chemistry. We will be meeting on Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 2:15 in Building 1, Room 347. I've already said my name is Professor Becker. My office is right down the hall from our classroom. It's room 316. My email is here. My office phone number. Let's go down to my office hours. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'll be in my office for office hours from 9 to 10 a.m. From 4 to 5, I'll be online. On Thursday, I'll be in my office from 11 to 1, and again, online from 4 to 5 p.m. On Friday, I will only have online office hours, and they'll be between 10 and 11 a.m. So let's take a look at preferred contact method. Although you can contact me several different ways, I would prefer you to contact me through Blackboard. My goal is to get back to you within 24 hours during the week. Let's go down to course. So of course, we've already said this is Introduction to General Chemistry. You can read the description. What's important is that you have the prerequisites. So make sure that you have the prerequisites. Let's go to educational materials. This semester, for the text, I'm using an online text, which is free. And this is the link. What you will have to buy is the pin for the Late Night Labs. The Late Night Labs is our virtual lab platform that we're using, and here's the link for that. I suggest you buy it right from the website because it's cheaper than if you buy it from the bookstore. So other things that you have to be able to do, you have to be able to access the internet on a daily basis. You need to bring a scientific calculator with you to every lecture. I highly suggest you have some type of lecture notebook that has a 3-ring in it so that you can print out all the PowerPoint slides, punch holes in them, and put them in the binder. When you're printing the PowerPoint slides, I suggest that you do not print them in color, and I do suggest that you print 2 to 3 slides per page. Let's look at the assessment process. We're going to have 10 chapter quizzes, which are on Blackboard, and they are timed, worth 15% of your grade. We're going to be doing 9 labs, which will account for 20% of your grade. We will have 4 exams, exam 1, 2, and 3, and the final exam, worth 60% of your grade, and the worksheets that you are going to hand in are worth 5% of your grade. If you look over to the right, it is the normal standard grading scheme. You can read the online learning statement. Let's go down to policies. So under attendance, what's really important is if you miss 4 or more class meetings, you will automatically be withdrawn from the class. There are no excused absences. If you are 10 or more minutes late for class, that will count as an absence. Under makeup, there are no makeups for anything. Cheating, I have a 0 tolerance for cheating, which means that if I can prove that you cheated, you will automatically fail the course. There is no extra credit this semester, and there will be no rounding of grades. What this means is that if you end the semester with an 89.9, you will get a B in this course. You can read the withdrawal policy, but I'd like to point out that the only reason I will withdraw you is due to attendance. Students with disabilities, if you have accommodations, please let me know as soon as possible. Let's go to personal electronic devices. Personal electronic devices such as cell phones, tablets, and laptops are allowed in class. You can read these other statements yourself. Let's go down to learning outcomes. If you read through these 10 learning outcomes right now, they may not make much sense to you. But my goal is by the end of the semester, you will read through this list and you will understand everything. Let's take a look at the tentative schedule of classes, assignments, and lab. I've set this up by week 1 through week 15. In the second column is the date, and the third column is what we will be doing during lecture, The fourth column is what's due that day, and the fifth column I've just left for you to check off so that you can monitor your progress. So let's take a look at the first day. The first day, which is August 29th, of course, we'll have a little welcome. I'll talk about the syllabus again, and we'll get right into chapter PSS. On August 31st, we will finish chapter PSS. And then notice, September 3rd is not a class day, but your PSS quiz is due that day. When quizzes are due, they're due that day at 11:59.00. All the quizzes and exams are in Blackboard. Let's go down to week 2. On September 5th, we're going to be lecturing about chapter 2, and your PSS worksheets are due. The worksheets are due at the beginning of class. I will leave out a folder and you will hand in the worksheets. I don't want you working out the worksheets during class, so please hand them in at the beginning of class. Let's go to week 3. What looks different about week 3 is that the first lab is due. Lab 1, which is the sample lab, is due on September 14th. Let's keep going. Week 5, on September 28th, we will review for exam 1. When we do review, I just show up. You need to have studied by then and know what questions to ask me. And then on October 1st, exam 1 is due. All of the exams are open for a range of days. So for exam 1, which will cover chapter PSS 2, 3, and 4, it will be open September 26th through October 1st, only in the East Campus Testing Center. Let's go back down. Exam 2, which will cover chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8, will be open in the East Campus Testing Center November 6th through November 10th. Exam 3, which will cover the remaining chapters 9, 10, and 12, will be open in the East Campus Testing Center December 1st through the 5th. Then week 15, all we're going to do is review for the final exam, and the final exam you'll be taking in the East Campus Testing Center, and it will be open December 10th through December 15th. The disclaimer statement just states if I have to change anything, I will let you know. Let's look at important dates. The drop refund deadline this semester is September 15th. The withdrawal deadline is November 10th. Remember, I will not withdraw you after November 10th unless it's due to poor attendance. Let's talk about the chapter quizzes. So you're going to have 10 chapter quizzes. They're all going to be in Blackboard. They're all multiple choice, true and false. There is no fill in the box and there's no essays. Remember that the quizzes are due on that date at 11:59.00. It is your responsibility to submit the quiz by that time. If you submit it late, you will get a 0 for the quiz. I will be dropping your lowest quiz grade in the semester. The next thing are the worksheets. There's a worksheet for every chapter. They're in Blackboard. The answer keys are already open in Blackboard as well. Please make sure that you print out the worksheets, you do the work on the sheets, and that is what you hand in. Exams. The 4 exams will be taken in the East Campus Testing Center. You will be given a periodic table sheet packet just like the one on our Blackboard site, but it is your responsibility to memorize any mathematical equations. When you have to go to the testing center, please make sure to bring photo ID and your scientific calculator. Labs. We will not be meeting for a physical lab. You will be doing your lab in a virtual lab called Late Night Labs. You must buy the PIN to register for Late Night Labs and register by September 10th. You're going to perform the labs in Late Night Labs, but the lab notes and the questions that you're going to answer about the lab are being done on a separate piece of paper, and those papers are on Blackboard for you to print out. I will be dropping 1 lab grade. Let's just talk about the general course design. So it is a hybrid course. The lab is online, but part of the lecture is also online. So what the students need to do is they need to read through the PowerPoint lecture notes and try all the examples before I lecture about that chapter. Please make sure you take notes on what you need to ask me questions about. Students are going to print out the chapter worksheets and bring them to lecture. Each chapter is going to be divided into 2 lecture periods. The first period is for the professor to do a mini lecture and take questions about the chapter PowerPoint notes. We will go over all the examples that are in the notes. The second period for the chapter is for demonstrations, activities, group work, and going over chapter worksheets together. We will definitely have several in-class demonstrations and group activities throughout the semester. Number 4, most weeks there is a chapter quiz. After the due date is passed, you will be able to access your quiz, the questions, the answers, and the right answer by going to your grades on Blackboard, click on the grade itself, and the quiz will open. Remember that the due date has to have passed for this to work. Remember that labs will be performed online, but the hard copies of the lab notes and the lab questions will be handed in by the due dates on the syllabus. The hard copy is what's being graded. You must actually complete the online labs. Even though you're not submitting it through late night labs, I will still be able to tell if you've actually performed the lab. You have to perform the lab and then fill out the sheet with the lab notes and the questions and hand that in. If you hand in a lab and you haven't actually done the lab, you will get a 0. Well, thank you for your time. I hope this helped, and I'll see you all next week.